I'd like to welcome everybody. Appreciate you making the trips in and signing up for our classes. Regional tries to pride itself in being more than just a distributor. You know, we aren't just a company that will send you product and leave you out on your own. We want to teach you how to use the products, how to maintain your business and grow your business. So we do a lot of these type of classes, so check online. So today, we're going just over, you know, Substrate 101. It's just basic information about the substrates and how to use them, okay? We try to let you know how to use them because a lot of people don't use them right, and then we end up with a problem, you know, a failure or something else, and they're upset, or, you know, other issues come up. So we want to try to teach you how to use things correctly. So we're going to start with the least expensive products, okay? We all got this big red box. Inside the box is a product that we're actually just starting to bring online. This is Ultraboard. We've stocked foam core and other products in that area. We still have those. This is a product we're looking at bringing online real soon. It's kind of got some unique characteristics. Works the same as a standard foam core or foam board bar product. So you want to make sure, you know, as we move forward, it will be switching away from a product that we have to this type of product. And the reason we're going to this are a couple of reasons. This product has a styrene face. All our foam boards have either paper or an impregnated paper, which is a polyester-based type product. This one's styrene. It holds up a little bit better. It's a little more dense, and so, you know, we've got had some great feedback from it, and things are moving forward. So as you got this book, and you open it up, you can kind of see a lot of different applications for that type of product, mostly interior. Okay, you're okay, no problem. You don't throw it at me. We'll be okay. No, but you know, so you've got, you know, interior store, point of purchase type applications, you know, decor, display type applications. You know, there's all kinds of different things like that. This, whoops, wrong one. Top is. Yeah, you can take one if you'd like. This is a foam core product. I'll hand it out. You can pass it around. This is something we just did here on a new machine we have in the other room. And you know, it's just basically some sign letters that you can put up anywhere inside of a business that you're trying to advertise for. You know, pharmacies, that kind of stuff, just advertising. Foam boards are used in that application, and 90% of the time they would be used interior. Okay, you wouldn't take them outside. Now, there's a whole lot of products in this box, and we could go over each one individually, but you can kind of go through them and see. Gives you the dimensions. They're all printable. You know, samples here are printed. Some of the unique things they do with it is in the back, you've got metal coated aluminum. So you see a lot of foam letters done inside of a business on their walls. It's nice, lightweight. It sticks up easy, you know, with tape or anything like that. So they'll route letters out of this type of stuff. It's got the aluminum already applied to it. So it takes a step out of what you guys need to do. So like I say, anything you see in this box, and if you have questions about any of them, they are primarily in the interior use. You're not going to go exterior. These aluminums have been used exterior, and they can be, but you have to seal the edge. Okay, if you take that outside, you have to seal that foam edge with a latex type paint, and then probably hit it with an enamel after that. But if you go straight to an enamel, it'll eat the foam. Okay? So you have to seal it with something that will protect it first. If you don't seal it and put it outside, which people have done, the birds will eat the foam. Okay? They'll pull the foam out and the letters will fall off the wall. So, you know, those are things you have to be aware of. So that's that product. I should turn my phone off. There we go. Don't need that ringing. But you know, that's those type products, like I say, primarily interior. The next group of the product, well, and like I say, we carry foam core. You've got these samples in front of you too. Okay, these samples are what we stock today. They're a paper base that comes in black or white. It also comes in, you know, different thicknesses, 3/16 and 1/2 inch. So, you know, you depending on what your application is. So, as you move down the line, you get into more robust materials, which are foam-filled PVCs. A lot of people call them Centra. Centra is a trade name. It's an expanded PVC product, and like I say, Centra is 3A composites product. Celtec, Comoline, there's 3 or 4 different brands of that out there. It's a PVC, so it is weather durable. It works real well. And this book right here will kind of give you a whole lot of ideas of how to utilize it. Again, a lot of it's interior, but there are some exterior applications. The problem with this problem, exterior-wise, is it has a limited temperature. Okay? If you're going to exceed, let's say I want this wonderful black outside in a letter on the wall, and I put that on the south side of the building in Salt Lake City, and the summer comes around and it gets to 110 degrees, this is going to hit 180 degrees. Okay? Because it's going to absorb the heat and everything else. At that temperature, actually at 160 degrees, it's going to warp, okay, and bend, and it will never go back. It'll stay whatever it turns into after that temperature. Its deformation temperature is 160 degrees. So you have to be aware where you're putting that product if you put it in black outside. The white has an occasion to oxidize, okay, so it looks really cool. I've seen some great signs out there that have oxidized. They look like wood, and the PVC will actually let the chemicals protrude out of it, and it'll make this nice looks like a wood sign. It's all done, but customers don't like it. So, you know, it will oxidize in some applications, and I'm not going to say it'll happen everywhere, but I've seen it happen one place, and on the same building. On one side of the building it'll oxidize, the other side it won't. I can't tell you why. We just know that it does. So, you know, you can use it exterior. It comes in thicknesses from if you're talking Centra, starts at 1 millimeter, and then we'll go up to 25 millimeter, which is 1 inch thick. So you can, it glues, it routes, it's a real good product. So it will also digitally print. We have foam boards like the Gator foam and the Ultraboards that come in a black-white. So you got a front face white, back black for printing on. So this is you're going to print a digital image similar to this, okay, on it. Then it has a nice black edge for hanging on the walls, makes, you know, for pictures, that kind of display. When you get into the Centras and the PVCs, you've got different types, okay? Celtec, you got these nice pretty colors somewhere in your file. Celtec and Centra are competitors to each other. We stock both. The reason we stock both is, well, we even stock the lower grade. EPVC from Centra is a 5-pound density foam, okay? That's how much foam they put in the sheet per square foot, basically. They call it 5 pound. Centra itself, you'll see one that says Centra, is a 7-pound density foam. So it's a little higher density. The difference between them, you can't really tell. I can tell you that right now. Cost-wise, the 5-pound is going to be a lot less cheap, lot less expensive, but it's going to perform pretty much the same, but the 7-pound will fabricate. If you get into any type of fabrication, bending or any of that kind of stuff, the 7-pound will hold up better in that kind of an application. But for flat sheet work or letters, that kind of stuff, go to the 5-pound, you'll be fine. The difference between Celtec and Centra, Celtec is an open cell product. Centra is a closed cell product, okay? That's the only difference. And it doesn't mean a whole lot to you until you put it outside in the weather and you put a vinyl face on it. And it absorbs water because it's an open cell product. That water has to go somewhere, so it comes out the face and it pushes your vinyl off. So that's something to be concerned about if you're going to use it in that kind of an application, exterior-wise. Centra you'd want to use because it's going to cost you more money, but it's not going to have the issue because it's not going to absorb water when it hits that edge. You feel that edge, you can feel the foam. You know, the faces are real smooth, but the edges are foam. So Celtec, like I say, it's a great product. I got people that use it outside, you know, painted, and they don't have an issue because the water can't get through the foam. But if you were putting it out without a painted edge and in the weather, it could cause you a problem down the road. So be aware of that. We have a product called UV PVC, solid, okay? You don't have a sample of this. This is the only sample they sent me. It's for digital printing or vinyl, whatever you want to do. But it works great for real estate type signs. Comes about, it's 0.93 thick. It holds up in cold weather or hot weather. It's UV, so it does not yellow. Any of these products, you know, outside will yellow to some extent over time. This one has a UV inhibitor in it, so it won't. So if you're ever doing, you know, outside signage that, you know, 098 is going to work for, then that UV PVC is a great product to have. It prints really well, as you can see. I'll pass it around, and you kind of feel it's a little heavier than the other stuff because it's a solid PVC. It only comes in the one thickness. These are prints that are done on the Celtec, okay? You know, just digital prints on white product. I don't know how many of you have printers that you actually print direct to substrate.
We just brought the roll in, so.
Okay, so you're printing on vinyl and then applying. And you know, they'll work just the same on just like this, but these are direct to print, so you can see it actually holds a real good image if you print directly to it. You know, so good way to take out costs in your processes is to buy a direct to printer, you know, direct to substrate printer, because now you've eliminated the vinyl and the labor to apply that vinyl. So, you know, it's a good product, and you can see it gets some pretty good whites and other things printed right there on the dark. I'll pass that one around. The others, you've got samples in your pile that have the prints on them already. So, as you move down the chain, you get into aluminums. Some of you on the front row lucked out really good because they have a big keychain of aluminum. You know, they sent me just a few of those. They didn't give me them all. So some of you ended up with just the white, blue, and red samples. Okay. There are also the color card samples that have the just went blank. The anodized product. Okay. And then you've got just the painted products. Okay. Difference between anodized and painted. Anybody know? These are powder coated, so they hold up pretty well, but anodized is actually impregnated into the aluminum. They use acid to stick the colors or the textures to it, okay? These are just put through a powder coat system where the heat applied. We do not stock all of those colors. so don't call me going, hey, I want this really great color. Yes, they are available. We don't stock all of these colors, I can tell you right now. You know, you can look at it, you can call one of our great inside sales guys or get online and you can look and see which of these we stock. We stock the most popular and the ones that move. The others we can bring in for you. Of course, if you have to have them in a hurry, there's freight, crate, all that fun stuff. If you can wait for stocking orders, they can just come in with our normal stocking orders as we do those. So, you know, but there are some good stuff. We do not stock safety orange. That's one color I get called on quite a bit. It's not a color we get stocked, so let you know that right now. But look, yes?
So did you say that the aluminum sheet comes in these colors?
Yes. So it comes that way.
Oh, okay. And then is this painted on?
Yeah, the white page is all painted colors. The black one's anodized, so those are, and there, of course, they've got the brushed metals, those type of looks. So you can take your Centra and your aluminum and apply it with an adhesive, route out your letters, and you've got your finished edge, nice finished edge, and everything else for, you know, for a colored letter. That's what we see a lot of people do. You know, they'll mount that on there, and then they'll take it to a router or whatever equipment they may have, or jigsaw, whatever you might have, to cut out the letters, to give you a nice finished letter for exterior or interior. Again, like I say, this product, if it's, you know, dark colors in certain areas are going to cause you grief. You know, that's what you have to watch out for. Okay? Yeah.
So So I'm finding that a lot of people are wanting like a dimensional letter that's like an inch or 2 inches. What do you use for that?
I don't have the thick sheet. I was hoping they'd send me some thick sheet. Centra comes up to 1 inch thick, 1 inch thick.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, so you can get that in a white, 1 inch thick, and then you can paint that edge or however you're going, whatever you're going to do to give it that dimension, or you just paint the whole sheet. Just, cut the letters out and paint it, and then you're all set that way for a dimensional letter.
What kind of paint do you recommend?
I recommend Matthews paint. That's what we sell. There are a lot of paints out there. Any enamel will stick to a PVC. So any latex will stick to a PVC. So, but yeah, we recommend Matthews paint because that's what we sell. So, it is a little more difficult because it's a 3-1-1 mix. It's not something you just take out of the can or take out of the gallon and spray. You have to mix it. So, because it's a polyurethane.
Oh, okay. So then you spray it on.
It has to be sprayed. Yeah, it does. Well, they do have a roll applicate, roll inhibitor that you can add that to it and roll it. I don't prefer the look. It looks a lot better when it's sprayed. So, but yeah, you can. The aluminum comes in different thicknesses. This one is a. What is this? I can't see it. Got to get my glasses out, JR. I can put them on. Eric says I look real professional. I look like a professor when I wear them. So, yeah. So this is a 080 thick, and we stock it. Our thickness on aluminum is starts at 032, which you see most of your real estate signs and that kind of stuff out of, and goes up to an 080. It's the thickest we have, and that's in these. Primarily, that's in white. We stock those colors, that way. We don't stock the colors that way because we don't get a lot of call for it. The colors come in 040 primarily, so it's mid-range, and that's used for, the aluminum is used in a lot of ways, just for flat sheet type work or fabricating where you're wrapping a structure. We tell you to use 040. I don't know if you've ever seen a sign that has a kind of looks like a pop can ripple in it, if you around the structure. That's because they used 032 aluminum on it, and it doesn't. It kind of where they weld it and that kind of stuff, it will kind of ripple. The 040 doesn't do that, so that's what we sell is the 040, so you don't run into that issue. You can't get it in the 032, but you can run into issues when you're building structures or anything. I don't know how many of you do any commercial large structure type stuff. Most of you, I think, are smaller commercial people. So, yeah.
Well, I have a project where they're speccing out 60-63 aluminum.
That's the alloy.
Is that the alloy?
That's the alloy.
You sell that?
Yes. All our aluminum is 60-63.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, they have different alloys. It's just the hardness, basically, of what that product is.
Okay.
So, yeah. So you shouldn't run into any problem with any of our aluminums on that type of application. Dibond. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dibond. There's we stock 3 different types of Acm panel. Acm stands for aluminum composite material. If you look at your sample, you can kind of see it's got a black center, aluminum face. This is the same thing. It's got a metal. It's got the brushed metal on it. This product, we stock that what we call our Acm panel, which is the least expensive of our aluminum composite materials, and it has an 0.8 thickness skin. Okay, 0.8 thickness here on the face. That's how thick that aluminum is, 0.008. Okay, if you go to a Dibond, you jump up to an 020 aluminum. Okay, so a lot heavier gauge. If you're using it as a flat sheet, it really doesn't matter. The 008 will last just as good outside as as any other product in a flat application. If you're going to build something out of it, you see you got a sample like this that's all routed out on the back. The reason they gave us that is because you can bend that all up and make it look really nice into a sign. Okay, put some backing in the inside of it, and you've got yourself a dimensional sign. Okay. You can route out the face, push plastic through it, and make it a nice backlit type of application with LEDs and all that kind of stuff. If you're going to do that, you can only do that with the Dibond material. You can try it with the other stuff, but most likely it's going to crack on those bends because it's not thick enough to be able to take that structure in that bend. Our Omega Bond, a little bit less money, you can do it with it, but it's going to, it's still going to be a little iffy, okay? So if, like I say, if you're going to fabricate, they gave us a couple of samples. This one here that you can bend up into a nice little box. This one here that has two different looks. It's got a nice sharp corner, and then it's got the other one that you can do a nice radius corner on it. So you can take your samples and bend them up, or you can just look at this one. So if you're building a structure of some kind or box, this product works really well for that. Okay, and you don't have, but like I say, you want to use the thicker skinned product. If not, you're going to call me, hollering at me, and say it's cracking on me. It's because of the thickness of that aluminum, and you've got to have a heavier gauge product there. So that gives us all the. Oh, I didn't talk about Corex. Anybody heard Corex? Corex is a corrugated plastic product, okay? Primarily you see it used in outside sales type of applications, promotional applications, real estate, and election time. Election, this stuff goes out of here really crazy fast because it's very inexpensive and it does a good job and holds up in the weather. It's lightweight and will do the job for either vinyl application or direct to print.
Can you get that stuff with a UV protection on it also, or?
It has a UV. It's already UV protected. Yeah, it's not made for long term UV, but yes, it has some UV already. It's polypropylene, so it has some UV in it to protect it for. I would say that. Realistically, I wouldn't go more than a year on that product outside. I've seen stuff out there longer, but it's pretty cheap. So, the customer needs to know, hey, this is not going to last forever. And realistically, what they're using it for is, like say, promotional sales, that type of stuff, advertising. Home real estate guys using it for their house type applications, those type of things. So that's where that's kind of used quite a bit. You've got these samples here, and there's a lot of, these are all high-density polyethylene, but they're all used for different applications, okay? High-density polyethylene primarily is a mechanical plastic, but we see it used a lot in the sign industries and the marine industry, okay? Sign industry, it's used for furniture. You can actually build stuff out of it. This is one that has a wood grain already embedded into it. So you can buy it that way. So you can build furniture out of it. You can build playgrounds out of it. You can do all kinds of stuff. Now we have that one there is Polymer Industries product. They call that playground material. Celtec or Acm has their product. They've got their playground and their designer board. Okay, playground and designer. They're all, like I say, they're all polyethylenes. Designer board has textures like that one does. Playground is, well, it's like the texture on the front of your product here, okay? It's got kind of a hair cell texture to it. And they use it to build playgrounds. They use it for street marking, all kinds of stuff. It also comes, as you see it here, multi-layered. This is used for routing out signs, okay? Somebody wants a sign that's engraved, it's more permanent, that somebody can't vandalize. Nice thing about this stuff, you can spray paint it. Because it's polyethylene, nothing sticks to it. Chemicals won't stick to it, so you can go in and clean it with whatever you want, and it's not going to damage this product. I see it used a lot in areas that you got high vandalism and that kind of area, that type of stuff. So, and it comes in all these wonderful colors that you've got on your samples. We don't stock this product. Well, I think we stock black and blue. But other than that, I don't think we're stocking any of the others, but they're easily available. This company actually has a warehouse in Salt Lake City, the manufacturer, so it's really easy for us to get. They've usually got plenty of it here on the floor. They're shipping them across the West Coast. So, if you get into an application there, big thing with this, sticking vinyl to it, you have to use a high-tack adhesive. Okay, you can't use the standard high-performance vinyl, because if you do, it's going to eventually fall off. We do have the 225 series in high performance. It's a higher tack product. That's what I would recommend if you use this type of product. Or if you're digitally printing, then you just ask your customer service rep or our sales team, and they'll get you a high tack product that you can print on that'll stick to this. It's kind of like you see on the ATVs and that kind of stuff. Nothing wants to stick to them. They're really hard. That's why you have to have a high tack adhesive for those applications. This is a big chunk of the playground. I'll give you a color one, but this is the hairstyle. This is the texture you're going to have on this type of product. So that's kind of gives you a better application. Polymer Industries. You've got a book like this. It goes through all kinds of stuff that you can do with it. Primarily, it's fabricating. She's still throwing stuff at me.
That was him.
Oh, no, it wasn't you. Oh, okay. It's used in fabricating tanks. Like I say, it's got tennis court applications, gears. It's an industrial plastic that's kind of moved into the sign industry. It was primarily built for the manufacturing industry, and now they've just moved it over because they found that it works well as bathroom stall liners. I know the University of Utah took this and put it in the bathrooms and engraved out, some stuff in the, their logos in the stalls, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
What size do you get a 4x8 of that?
4x8. 4x8 primarily is what it comes. I think you can get 5x10s, but they're not as readily available, but yeah. So. Aluminum signs. We sell an MDO board, which I don't have any samples of, but it basically looks like, in this book, looks like this wood one, but it doesn't have the white coating on it. It's usually gray, fine, so you can paint it whatever color you want. But this product here, by Laminators, is, and you've got bigger samples somewhere here. Oh, right here. You've got these other bigger samples and thicker, okay, for different type of applications. I don't know where you'd use this, to be honest with you. I didn't even know they made it, so I got this sample. I went, oh, 1 inch thick. I guess you could use it for letters, like you were talking about. The problem is you got to seal the edge somehow, and so that's news to me. That's a new product that when they send the samples. Primarily, we stock the 6mm and the 10mm, which you see in this book. These two. We can bring the D-Light in, but we don't stock it because there hasn't been big demand for it. This product right here, the 6mm, is the same strength as a piece of plywood. So, yet it's a lot thinner, and it's a lot. So it'll take the same wind load any piece of plywood does. So you see it used in sight signs, where it's between two posts. Because it's so sturdy, you don't have to put a lot of structure behind it. You just put it between the posts. And as long as, if you were going to use a piece of 1/2 inch plywood there that would rot away in a short period of time, this will last 10 years, and it will carry the same wind load. The 10mm, of course, is double that strength. So, it just depends on what you need dimensionally for your customer. We stock those two, and then we stock the Omega boards in the aluminum surfaces. These are primarily used for sight signs that you're going to see out there, vinyl application or direct to print. It does come in the colors. We don't stock a lot of the colors in that. We do stock it in the Alumilite. Okay, corrugated. We stock these colors here in the 6mm. So. It comes with a trim cap that can go around the edge to seal it. So if you're doing, you know, out of the thing, like I say, it's a 10-year product outside. Most of your signs are going to be gone long before then. If you need a bigger sign than a 4x8, which is what it primarily comes in, these little pins right here slide down inside the corrugation. And if you put them about every 12 inches and put it all together, it'll be the same strength as a full sheet, whatever size you do that. So you slide the pins in about every, you know, 6 to 12 inches. And then you can slide them together and make them as big as you need to make them. And they just butt together. So, but that's, you know, that's the aluminite type applications. They have this. You have this book too. And like I say, it just gives you some specifications on the sheets, what thicknesses are available. And then if you look, you can see different applications in the back. You know, they'll take it, they'll route out letters, and they'll put push-through type applications where you can backlight a sign, or they'll just stick vinyl to them, you know, that kind of thing. You know, in between posts for stores, you know, or retail applications. I'm trying to think, you know, so yeah, this product's very versatile and can be, you know, and then like I say, the very back gives you all the specifications and strengths and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's a good handy book to have around. Acrylics. Well, I guess acrylics are made 3 different ways. I don't know how much you know about acrylic. Okay, there's 3 different types of acrylic. The first is extruded acrylic, which is going to be the least expensive. Okay, that's what you've got here. Is all these products here are primarily extruded. Extruded acrylic is going to be the least expensive product you can get. It works great for flat applications. If you're routing it and not gluing it or nobody's going to clean it, you're just going to use it as a letter up on a wall way high. It's a great one to use, but you have to change router speeds and feeds and that kind of stuff, because this product, the way they make it is like, you know, your kids with Play-Doh. They have it pressed and they stick the Play-Doh in and they push it down and it just comes out the other side as whatever product it is. It starts out as a pellet, okay, and they meld it and they run it through rollers. And they run it to the gauge it's going to be. Well, all acrylics have a memory. They want to go back to the shape they were when they started. Okay, that's why when you form them, if you mess it up, you can go back and reheat it and form it again, because it is going to go back to what it originally was. So it thinks it was a pellet. This sheet right here thinks it was a pellet. So when you start heating it up and cutting it, it wants to shrink. And so it will melt. And it'll burn the edge, or, you know, it'll gum up along the edge if your speeds aren't right. Or if you're cutting it on a saw, you'll see it gum up. It'll chip, those type of things. So it's a great product for flat application, realistically. The second type of product is a continuous cast acrylic. What that is it's a liquid form material that they pour out on a belt, a stainless steel belt that's 300 feet long and about 12 feet wide. And that product will flow across there, and as it goes out, it cures. So it's got a pretty good thickness tolerance. That's the nice thing about extruded and continuous casts, is they're fairly close on their tolerances, okay, and thickness, because one's gravity is holding the product in place, the other one's got rollers that have pressed it to the size it's going to be. But when, you know, and that product will route, will cut, will do all kinds of things, you know, that you can't do with an extruded product. If you take this and cut it into a letter, and then you go out and clean it with, say, Windex, you're going to see these little tiny cracks start right around the edge. They're called crazing. And that's because of the stress that you put in the sheet when you cut it. And so you can't really, like I say, you can't use any type of chemical on it. You can only clean it with water, realistically. So, like I say, it's one of those things you have to be careful with. But if you go to a continuous cast, that product thinks it was a flat liquid plate, so it doesn't get the stress. It doesn't melt. It doesn't do that when you cut it. Okay, so it won't cause you the same issues. It won't craze. Tolerance is a little bit less. Its spec is a little bit less. This one here is probably like 0.05 thousandths of an inch. The continuous cast is going to be closer to 0.010. 10 thousandths of an inch, based on the thickness you go, however thick you go. And then if you go to the best, the easiest, well, not easiest, but the nicest one to work with, the cast acrylic, it won't cause you any issues. You can cut that, do anything. The problem with it is tolerance is about 10%, plus or minus 10% of whatever thickness you're at. Okay, so if you're an inch, it could be 1/8 of an inch smaller or thicker at any point in the sheet. Okay, so if you're, say you're using it for 3/16 as a backlit sign or a backlit letter, because of its tolerance difference anywhere in the sheet, you might get a different amount of light coming through the sheet at a different point, so you'll kind of get modeling. Okay, so I would recommend if you're doing a sign or a backlit type sign, you go either with an extruded sheet if it's flat, okay, and you're not going to do much with it, or what they call, this is Duraplex. We also call it, around here we call it SG. Okay? SG acrylic is an impact modified acrylic. It's the same as this one, but they've added a modifier to it, a rubber modifier, to make it more friendly to cut. It won't break, it's easy, it'll take more impact, and you can do everything with it exactly like you can a cast sheet, but yet it holds its tolerance like an extruded sheet. It's going to be more money, but it's not going to cause you headaches down the road. When this one here, if you chip it, some wind load hits it funny one day, it cracks across the face, and they come to you and say, hey, my sign cracked, and it's only been out 6 weeks. Okay, what are you doing? You got to buy a new piece and redo it for them. This won't do that. So SG is probably the way I would go for all sign applications, unless you want to go to a cast or a continuous cast product. This one is DA. DA is a digital printed acrylic, okay? You've got samples there, right, that look like this. They're printed, okay? That's what this is, okay? It's basically it's a co-extruded material. So what they do is they're taking the acrylic and a cap of some type of other product. They won't tell us what that is, so I can't tell you either. But they extrude them at the same time. It fuses together, and it has a coating for printing on. It's only on one side of the sheet. It's usually marked like with this band, you'll see. And that's the side you print on. Now you can print first surface or second surface. Your product is printed second surface. So, you can do either one. It, holds up really well, and it gives you really nice images, okay? And the images stick really well. If you go to an extruded or a sign grade product, you can print to them, but they may not hold on as well as this one will. This one's made to actually be digitally printed to.
What do you mean by first surface, second surface?
First surface is if I'm printing here, this is first surface. If I'm printing here, this is second surface. I'm looking through the plastic on a second surface application. So you print everything in reverse. That's how that is. So that's what that is there. You're looking through the acrylic to the print. So it's a second surface print. The next product, yes?
When would you pick like a SG over a cast?
I would take SG over a cast anytime. Because, the only time I can take cast is if I'm doing a lot of routing, or a lot of cutting to that product.
Because you can glue it
and of course
polish
thickness issues. I mean, if you've got to get above 3/16 of an inch, you have to go to a cast. Because SG or impact modifieds only go up to 3/16 of an inch thick. They don't go thicker than that. So if you're doing a dimensional letter that has to be 3/4 of an inch, and you need to go outside and you don't want it to warp and you can paint it, then, or it's just going to be white, whatever, I would go to a cast at that application, as long as I'm not backlighting it. If I'm going to backlight, the cast gets a little sketchy. So, but most of the time you're going to backlight at 3/16 or less. So, this product here is Vivac, or what we call PETG. It's a polyester-based material, and it's made for the sign industry, but it's primarily made to be formed, okay? I didn't know what the hell I did. When I say formed, it's made to be like this, okay? You're taking it and say, I want to make a sign face with dimensional products on it. So these are just some test samples we did to test some printing that we were doing with a different printer. And so you're going to take it and you're going to print your image, or you're going to apply your image with vinyl and put it in a machine and heat it up and form it into whatever your product's going to be. So that's what that product's going to be made for. The only drawback with it, again, is temperature. It's very strong, takes great impact, but it has a temperature range of about 170 degrees. It's like a PVC. So if you're going to print something that's going to be a dark color, it's going to be outside, and if it's going to get any chance that it might get over 170 degrees, it's going to go someplace and you're not going to like it, you know. So that's the only problem with that product. To combat that, you go to polycarbonate. Most of you are going to call this Lexan. I'm sure anybody heard of Lexan? Yeah, Lexan is, again, a trade name. It's just like Kleenex. It's a trade name. It's a facial tissue. Ours is called Macrolon. Okay, Macrolon is the largest supplier of polycarbonate in Europe. Okay, Lexan is the largest supplier of polycarbonate in the United States. That's why you hear it called Lexan. Okay, they're both polycarbonates. Excuse me. They're both polycarbonates. They perform exactly the same. Temperature-wise, 230 degrees. You're not going to ever exceed that on a sign outside. So if you're going to go to form-type applications or signage applications, polycarbonate's the way to go. The issues you have with it are it does not glue very well. So if you're building a sign face that has to have letter track put on it to put in changeable letters, that kind of stuff, go to SG. Okay, it's going to give you about probably 30% of the strength of a polycarbonate, but you can glue to it. Okay, this one you're going to have to rivet. You're going to have to do all kinds of stuff to put your track on. This one here, you can glue it right on, and you don't have an issue with it. So, they both do. This one here is an acrylic. It will not yellow for 30 years. Their guarantees on all our acrylics are 30 year. You're not going to guarantee that to your customer. I can tell you that right now. I wouldn't do it if it were me. Polycarbonate is about 10 years, and it'll start to see a yellow change in any color that it's out there. Okay, but that's the way it is. It's a polyester-based product, similar to the Vivac, but like I say, it doesn't want to glue, and but it'll take impact over anything out there. You can beat it with baseball bats or whatever, and it won't have an issue. So that's that. Let me think what else I have.
Oh, I have a question
Yes.
about those. Do either of those come in a scratch resistant?
They do. Yeah, you can get an acrylic and polycarbonate both in scratch resistant applications. All our product are AR2s. We don't stock any AR1. Some people call, you'll hear AR or you'll hear MR when you get into a scratch resistant. AR is abrasion resistant, MR is mar resistant. All ours are, we do all AR type, all our AR2 products. Primarily we stock that in polycarbonate. Because polycarbonate can take an impact, it's softer, okay? And it will scratch easier than an acrylic will, okay? So, if you're in an area down low where somebody's going to be hitting it like a school marquee, and you want to keep kids from breaking it, put the SG in there because it's going to hold up to the impact, plus it's not going to scratch as easy. Where this one here, it'll take the impact by far, and they won't be able to ever get in it, but it will scratch, and so you may have to replace it because they're, that kind of damage. So, and all of these are going to scratch to some extent, unless you put an AR coating on them, and they'll even scratch if you dig at them. I mean, there's just a coating that's on there. So.
When you say AR2, you're referring to two-sided.
Two-sided, yeah. AR2, MR10 is two-sided, and MR5 is one-sided. We used to have some AR1, we may still have some. Jake wanted to get rid of it all, I'm sure. So, I don't know that we have a lot of that in stock anymore, but it is available, if we need to get it in. They also make it with static dissipative applications. You may get into somebody that wants to, they're doing a, I don't know, what can I think around here? Huh?
Chairman? Or you-
No, I'm talking about acrylics. Say somebody's building a containment system for an explosive product, okay? They can't have static buildup, so they have static dissipative acrylics. They're a coating on them, okay? I sell quite a bit of it to Futura, and there's another company down south that buys a lot of it because they're building things for Thiokol or for Alliantech or somebody like that. They're building rocket motors. They can't have fuels exploding, so they have to have static dissipative products. All the plastics you see here can get them that way, but they're not cheap, you know. So, but you know, did I see another hand? No, just somebody back there waving. Huh? Chris was waving or something.
No, I have a question.
Yes.
Trim capping polycarbonate.
Oh, you're asking. That's a tough question there. No, channel bond. There's a product we sell called channel bond. Yeah, if you're going to trim cap polycarbonate, that's the only product that's really going to work. A lot of people try to do it with Weldon, the IPS3 or those things. They'll do it to some extent, but they won't do it the best. Channel bond will do the best, but again, it's only going to be about a 35 to 40% bond. You can't get 100% bond. So, but that would be the best product for that. This is a direct-to-print product that we have. This is foam core, okay, that we just did back in our the demo area. And, you know, I just brought it in here, you can kind of see the stuff you can do with direct-to-print. Again, this is another one. This one's warped because they were trying to show that the ink wouldn't crack. They were bending it, so you can kind of see it's all rippled back here. But, you know, you can get some pretty vibrant colors, you know, printing directly to the substrates where you don't have to print the vinyls. So, you know, if you can and can get to that point, direct to substrate printing is a great way to go. Because, like say, you eliminate your cost of your material, your vinyl, and the person that you, especially if you're a small shop, the person that you were going to hire to do that, to apply it, you know, because it usually takes 2 people to apply. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have tried to apply a 4x8. Anybody? A vinyl? None of you have tried to apply that? We have a great table that does it really good, you know, a little fast for one guy. But if you're doing it, you know, by yourself, you can't do it. It's impossible. You have to have somebody hold it for you. So you're tying up 2 people. If you can print directly to it, now you've eliminated those 2 people, or at least one of them. You get to stay, but the other guy gets to go. So, you know, this is kind of a display we did out of Dibond material. So it's just a rounded little wall display. You know, for somebody that's doing vehicle wraps or something like that, they can put something really cool on there and, you know, make it look like a door or whatever they're doing. So just some neat things you can do with that. Some fun stuff to really get excited about if you are doing containment systems. We do a lot of stuff for gels, and you might run into where you're doing signage for a gel or something like that. Polycarbonate is what they call, I just went blank now. You can't break through it. It's a containment. You know, you could pound on this with a bat or a chair or whatever for, you know, 2 hours. Huh?
Resistant? No.
No, I can't remember. I just went blank on the word I was going to say, but you know, you're not going to break through it. That's what they use this for. They also make it in bullet resistant, not bulletproof. Okay, there's a big difference between bulletproof. I hear it be, oh yeah, I need that bulletproof stuff. No, there isn't anything that's bulletproof. There's bullet resistance, okay, and they come in different types of product. This one, like I say, this one here, containment. That's what I was thinking. You're using a containment room or something like that. Polycarbonate goes in the windows, that kind of stuff. If you don't want to have glass that has wires through it, you know, then you put polycarbonate in place because they can't get through it with a bat or that kind of stuff. Then I got that sample. This one is, there are different grades of bullet resistant product. Okay, there's the class 1 through class 5. This is class 1. Okay, it'll stop 22 shells, 22 bullets, you know, maybe up to a 38. But, you know, it's not going to you know, about 5 shots, they're going to get through it. Yeah, you already got this. I didn't need to hand you that, but after about 5 shots on it, it's going to go through it. Okay, class 3, you got 3 layers of product. You're actually 4 layers of product you're going through. Now you're starting to get up into the, you know, 38s, those type of things. You know, they're see-through. Yeah, they're completely. We use them for containment systems. Like, say you're working in a gas station, okay, that wants to secure their cashier. These products would be going, you know, would go in place of those. They can be fabricated, cut. You know, you can stick stuff to them. You know, for pictures, that stuff. Now, if you really want to stop the heavy stuff, you got to go to the class 5. Okay. This will stop a high-powered rifle, but it will only do it twice. If they shoot, you know, within a 1-foot area twice, it'll pass through. Okay. And actually, some high-powered rifles will pass through on the first shot, but they'll be just splinters, you know, just because it's there, you know. But those are there for those type of applications. I mean, I've sold a lot to cities where they're trying to secure their cashier, you know, where somebody's coming to pay their taxes and they're really mad at them, so they want to have this, you know, containment area that they're safe. So, you know, we sell it there. I know we're working on a project right now with the new prison, you know, where this will go in out there. You know, but there's different applications all over that you'll run into it. You look like you had a question. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I'm here to answer anything else. I mean, is there anything you want to know more about that I haven't gone over? Yes.
So what about, like, can you go over, like, the vinyls, different usage types of vinyls?
Sure, sure.
Because, like, right now I have a project, and I'm still, like, learning more about stuff, so I'm sorry about all the questions.
Oh, no, that's what this is all about, so don't be hesitant to ask. So what you got?
So there are these city kiosk signs for city streets, and they want something with graffiti laminate on it, but it'll be mounted on aluminum. And so our city has a sticker problem where people get stickers and they stick them, so that's why they want the graffiti lam, so it'll come off of it. So I was thinking of doing like a vehicle vinyl with the graffiti lam on top, but I don't know what's good for outdoors.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good application. I mean, most city signs are going to want to be reflective. Okay, so you're going to want to use a reflective substrate. You know, either the substrate itself, the sign, or if it's just you're just putting letters on it, and you know, because most of the time they want them to be reflective so you can see them at night, or the fire department can see them and that kind of stuff. So there's 2 ways to do that: either with a reflective vinyl or with a reflective substrate. So you can order this aluminum, wherever my aluminum samples are, right here, with a reflective paint on it already. So all you have to do is cut it out and it's ready to go. Or you can put, you know, just your aluminum, whatever, you know, take your raw aluminum that I passed around and apply vinyl to that in a reflective. And then once you have that, you can either print on that vinyl or you can apply other vinyl on top of it. And then from there you would put the anti-graffiti laminate over the top. The problem with anti-graffiti laminates is most of them are calendar vinyl, calendar products. Okay, and so there's 2 types of vinyl. There's a calendared, and there's 3, but you know, one gets kind of complicated. So we'll go calendared and cast. It's the same as we talked about acrylic. Calendared, they ran it through rollers to get it out to the flat sheet that is. It starts out as a rope. It gets hot and wants to shrink back to that rope. Okay, so depending on what type of calendared vinyl you get, there's 2 different grades in the calendared line. One's a cross-linked and one's just straight calendar. The straight calendar is very inexpensive, and I would only use that in throwaway signs. Okay, I wouldn't use it any other way, because it's going to shrink to the point that if you let's say you put it on the side of a car door, and within 30 days you're going to see a little dirt line start appear around the vinyl, because that vinyl's shrinking in. And as it shrinks in, that dirt line's going to get bigger. If you did a 2-foot by 2-foot square by within 60 days on a day in Salt Lake, on a sunny day in Salt Lake, you're going to shrink about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So calendar vinyl, strictly throwaway signage. The I can't remember what they call it now exactly, but it's a cross-linked calendar vinyl. That product will work really well, and it will last outside. It will shrink some, but will not shrink a lot. And that's why I say if you go with an anti-graffiti vinyl or laminate, it is going to shrink quite a bit. And so that's a problem. That you're gonna, and there aren't a lot of ways around it, to be honest with you. If they really want that anti-graffiti, they're going to have to live with the shrinkage. But if you put that on to, let's say you put a cast vinyl down, like you said, a car vehicle wrap vinyl down, which is cast, and then you put that overlam on top, because it's going to shrink, it's going to pull your vinyl off. So you can go with a cast laminate on a calendar vinyl. Okay, you can do that. You can't go the opposite way. You can't put a cast vinyl and a calendared laminate. If you do that, you're going to have a failure. So you can go, so you can go the one way where you're putting a better vinyl on top, or better laminate on top, because it's not going to shrink. The one underneath will shrink, but the one above won't. But if you go the other way, the one above will, and it's going to pull your other vinyl off. So you can, like I say, if you realistically stay the same all the time, cast, calendar. That's the way I would tell you to do it. A lot of people don't want to because how many of you laminate? Have laminators? You love laminate. You love webbing that thing up, don't you?
We just barely got it like 2 weeks ago. So.
Yeah, laminators. Nobody wants to web them. They're great once they're set up and ready to go. And they're running, but getting them set up to go is a pain. And you waste a lot of product getting them set up. So they go, well, I'm not going to switch back and forth. It's too much work. So cast laminate, always. It's going to cost you more money, but you don't have to deal with it. You can put whatever vinyl through. It's not going to cause you a problem, but always cast laminate. Don't go the other way or you're going to come back hollering at us.
Yeah, we've laminated a few race car racks, so
yeah,
we're getting there. But.
Yeah, so like I say, if it were me, I would go cast to cast. Because cast is, again, it doesn't have a memory because it was made as the product it is. It came through as a liquid form rather than a pellet or a roll. So, any other questions? Any other jobs you might have coming up? You have a question that might, what we can do? Yes.
A while back we did for the Centerville Police, we did a badge sign for them. It was multi-layers. It may be a case-by-case basis, but what do you have a go-to when you're doing like a 3 or 4 layer signs? Like
on a vinyl application, is that what you did? Or was it a...
Well, we just did multiple layered materials. Yeah, we used acrylics and marks.
Oh, okay, so you were doing the signage that way.
Right.
Oh, no, I would, well, depending on where it's going, but most likely I would go with acrylic. I would stay with acrylic and just different colors of multi-layered there. That's what I would do on something that's going to last. I mean, they wanted that to last a long time, I'm assuming. Yeah, so I would stick with acrylic primarily in that application, on all, for all of it. As long as you can find the colors that you need to match, or you paint, or vinyl, I guess, applications on top of them. So, yes.
The cap for the Illuminite,
Yes.
what's the best way to adhere to that?
Silicone.
Silicone.
Yep. Just take a clear silicone and run it around and then snap it down and then you wipe off what you don't, what squeezes out. Well, we appreciate you being here. Appreciate you taking time out of your days. We know it's busy. It's hard for you. My name's Alan Harris. I didn't give you all my contact if you need it. I'm available. We have all our inside sales team. I know you all got a rep yourselves. Between our reps,
Just go ahead, finish it.
between the three, well, there's 4 outside reps, but 3 of us have over 90 years of experience here. So if you look at that, if we haven't seen it yet, one of us has probably seen it somewhere.
And Alan's got 85 of them.
And I've got 85 of that, yeah, so, yeah. That's what they tell me anyway, but, yeah, so, you know, your guy, whoever calls on you, if you don't have somebody and you want somebody to call on you, let us know. We'll be happy to get you assigned. And, you know, we're here to try to make your job easier. So, you know, our inside sales team is, you know, some of them are here, you know, some of them, and they're here to, you know, help you learn more about it. So any question you call them with, they're willing to help you with. If they don't have an answer, they know how to get hold of us.